Hi everyone, Lisa here. Thanks for joining me for Fresh Friday. So, I have three cards that I'm going to be sharing with you featuring some of the products from the Fresh Friday lineup. And I am going to be using four of those products. Well, we'll call it three because I am only using a sentiment from one of the stamp sets here, but we're actually using four. So to get us started, I have a piece of 80-pound cardstock in my MISTI. I've stamped these really cute mermaid tails from the Mermaid Dream stamp set. And we're going to do some Copic coloring with these. Now, I wanted to pick some Copic colors that would match the 6x6 paper that we're using from the Mermaids 6x6 pattern paper. And I'm telling you guys, these are some of the cutest papers and the colors are gorgeous. Look at those little jellyfish. They are so cute. I can't get enough of them. So we're going to go ahead and use colors that coordinate with that paper. And I'm going to be using R35, R32, Y15, Y13, Y11, BG13, BG11, B01, and B00 to color these mermaid tails. Okay, so we've got started with R35 and I'm just laying down a little bit of the R35 at the base, and then I'm going to come in with Y13 so I can start to blend those together. I'm going to use R32 to blend between that R35 and Y13. And I'm just working back and forth between my colors until I'm happy with my blend. So let's go ahead and bring in BG13 and start working our way up to the tail. And we're going to come back in with BG11 to blend and Y13. Like I said, I just continually work back and forth through the colors when I'm blending like this, and just until I'm happy with the way it looks. B01 to start finishing off the tail. And we're going to finish it off with B00. So there's nothing complicated about this coloring. It's very simple, your basic blending, and just work your way back and forth through them until you're happy with it. So to finish off the tail, I decided to come in with my shimmer pen and just put a little bit of shimmer over the tail area. So real quick, I want to let you guys know that these have been cut out with my scan and cut, and I've just temporarily attached them to an inexpensive piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to come in with a metallic gold gel pen and add a few little details to her tail. And all I'm doing is laying down fine little dots on each of those scales, and you can see how it just adds that nice extra touch to it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get all the coloring done first, and then we'll work on assembling each card afterwards. So for the second tail, I'm going to be using R35, R32, and R30 plus my blender pen. And I kind of decided on a monochromatic palette with this because of the colored pattern paper that I'm going to be using. So I just laid down that R35, and now I'm going to come in and start to blend that out and up the tail with R32. Then we'll come in with R30 and go ahead and blend the rest of the way up the tail until I get to the very tip of the tail. Then I'm going to do my tip to tip technique where I pick up some of that R30 color with my blender pen and then go ahead and finish blending that tail out. So I felt like the tail was looking a little too flat for me. So I'm going to come in with my R35 and lay a little bit of that down just to create a little bit of depth here. Once I lay the R35 down, I laid down a very fine line of it. I'm going to come in with R32 and I'm going to lay another thin line right down, overlapping that R35 just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and finish it off doing the same thing with R30. And I just think it brings a little something extra to that tail because it was really looking flat and kind of just there. So for this mermaid tail, I'm actually coming in with the metallic jelly roll pen, and it's a copper color. It's such a beautiful color on these R35 coral colors. I mean, I was amazed at how pretty it looked. If you haven't tried this jelly roll pen. Don't worry, I'll have it linked for you. You really should try it out. It's so pretty. So I'm just coming in, adding those little dots to each of the scales. And then I decided to dress that tail up a little bit more. And I just ran lines up each section of the tail. And then I went working my way from the outside inward. Each section, I would give 3 dots to one section, 2 dots, and then 1 dot. And then I worked my way back to the other side, doing the same thing so that they match. So here you can see how gorgeous this copper color is on those R35, R32 coral colors. Beautiful. Okay, last mermaid tail, we started with BG18, and then we started blending that upward with BG15, BG13. We're working back and forth between the colors, blending them. We're going to end off with BG11, and we're going to stop right there. I'm going to go ahead and come in with a silver metallic pen and add details to each of the scales, just a little dot. Now I want to talk to you about Memento dye inks and shimmer pens real quick. You'll see here, I stamped the image and I went over it with my shimmer pen, and you see what happened. The ink reacted with the water in the shimmer pen and it bled. Now there's a real simple way to avoid that. What you want to do is, if you are going to leave something white like I did here so you can add shimmer to it, go over that with your colorless blender. Cover the whole entire area, saturate it with your colorless blender. Go over the lines. You want those to be wet too. And what's going to happen is the alcohol in that is going to set that ink for you. Then you can go ahead and come in with your shimmer pen, and once it's dried, you need to let that colorless blender dry first. Once it's dry, then come in with your shimmer pen and go ahead and color your tail up like you want, and you won't have to worry about any bleeding with that. So here I'm going to go ahead now. This is the second image that I colored because of the bleeding, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off my tail with my shimmer pen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and start assembling the cards. These are really easy to put together. So for this card here, I did some die cutting off screen using the Build an Ocean die set, and I just used that tall seagrass piece there and gold glitter cardstock, ran it through the die cut machine, 3 pieces of it. I also am going to use the Mermaid Escape stamp set and use this sentiment right here, Escape into Another World. And we're going to stamp that onto a white cardstock using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then trim it down with our paper trimmer to create a sentiment strip. We're going to add a piece of foam to the back of that sentiment and then center it on a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch cardstock, or card base. Sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and adhere a piece of that gold glitter seagrass straight to the cardstock, centered above that sentiment. Go ahead, add some mounting foam to the back of our mermaid tail and place her over that first piece of seagrass. Come to the right of her, liquid adhesive to the back of the second piece of seagrass, adhere it down right above the sentiment, and then pull it up over her tail, and then go ahead and add a little bit more adhesive to the back of the top of the grass and make sure that that's secured down. Add your piece to the left with some more liquid adhesive, add some gold sequins, and you're done. So now for this next card, we're actually going to be making a gatefold card with this one. And I went ahead and did all my die cutting off screen. So what I have here, I have 3 of the connected oval dies cut out of white cardstock. We're going to stack those together with liquid adhesive. I also went ahead and ran some copper glitter cardstock through the die cut machine with some of the pieces from the Build an Ocean set. And that's going to have us ready to go ahead and start creating our card. Now, for my gatefold card, I have a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. We know that our card is going to be 4 1/4 inches wide when we're done with it. What we need to do is go ahead and score the gates so that they equal 4 1/4. So you can score them anywhere you want. You can score them at 2 1/8 of an inch on each flap or each gate. That's going to give you 4 1/4 inches. You can score one side at 2 inches and the other side at 2 1/4 inches. It's still going to give you 4 1/4 inches. So you can score these wherever you want. I ended up scoring mine at 2 inches on the left side and 2 1/4 inches on the right side. I'm going to go ahead and fold those closed, and then we're going to cut our pattern paper to go ahead and adhere that to our card. So a little bit of liquid adhesive to the back of these connected oval die cut pieces we have here to stack them together. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere those to the right gate on my card. Now, a little tip for you here. So if you'll take the connected oval, flip it upside down onto your card and put score marks right down the center of your gates on your gatefold card, you're going to know exactly where you need to place your adhesive to put this down. If you're not careful, you can glue your card shut. So this is a great way to know you're staying exactly where you want to. Then when you're ready to adhere that to the gate of your card, you can just line those pencil marks up with the edge of the gate and secure it down, and you're done. A little bit of liquid adhesive on our die cut pieces, and then some mounting foam to the back of the mermaid tail to go ahead and place her on the card. Also, be sure when you're adding your mounting foam and your liquid adhesive to your seagrass and your coral pieces that you don't glue your card shut. You have to always be mindful of that when you're working with a gatefold card. Once we have these in place, I stamped my sentiment "Escape into Another World" onto white cardstock using a coral colored ink. And then I just trimmed it down with the paper trimmer, added a piece of mounting foam to the back of it, get my thoughts together here, and then went ahead and placed that right below everything I just added to the card, so that it would ground all of that. I'm going to add a few clear glitter enamel dots to this, and then we're done with this card. So for this last card, it is super simple. What I did was I did all the die cutting off screen. I went ahead, I die cut some of that pattern paper from the Mermaid 6x6 pattern paper pack with a round die. And then I cut some white cardstock out also, so I could stack all that together to give my card some dimension. And then I just added it to the card with some liquid adhesive. We're going to add liquid adhesive to the back of the mermaid tail and place it to the right. And then we're also going to go ahead and cut our sentiment down using that circle die so that the sides line up with our circle. Nice and neat. Now, what I did was I just stamped the "Escape into Another World" sentiment with VersaFine Onyx Black ink again onto white cardstock. Once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and put some mounting foam on the back of it. We're going to place all of these pieces on the card, add our sentiment, then we're going to wrap this up with some little iridescent gems right to the right side of her tail, and that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you'll click that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of new content to the channel. Please feel free to share these videos with your crafty friends anytime. For more information about the products used, head over to Whimsy Stamps website, and I really hope you have an amazing day.